Your boy Forever Cabron coming in to let you know to check out What's Hood with me, the Compa FC, where you can roll one up with a real one. We chop it up about everything, dog. Politics, hood shit, music, movies, acción, you name it, la causa, el movimiento. We want to tackle things about looking at your culture differently and all that good shit. So if you want to look into that, if you want to find some self-love and self-worth, dog, check out a Compa. Roll one up with a homie, dog. Every Tuesday and Thursday, right here on Binge on this. Check a homie out, dog. Stay up late.
Welcome, Jane Devon, to Sam of All Trades podcast.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Oh, I'm glad to have you here. So let's just start off by, what is it that you actually do? What's your job or your trade?
Well, currently I'm a voice teacher. I'm a piano teacher.
And what got you into all of that?
I graduated from Berkeley back in 2012.
Okay,
and I needed
music
a
school.
job. Yes.
You needed a
Berkeley
job.
College of Music in
Nice.
Boston, Massachusetts, not UC Berkeley. That was back in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed a job. So
Just like any other artist or...
yes. So I met a friend through Berkeley Alumni Program.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, hey, I can help you out, if you're looking for a teaching job. I'm working at the school. So then that's kind of like how I got into teaching.
So your aspirations at Berkeley, was it obviously, like you said, it's not to be a teacher.
Definitely
you were
not.
So you were wanting to be like
An artist.
An artist.
Yeah,
and
but that was hard to pursue because I'm Asian. Believe it or not, it's true.
why was it harder to be Asian and get into the music scene?
Because if you see like the Billboard,
Billboard charts, yeah.
Billboard charts. You
Yeah.
don't even see like an Asian artist out there.
Interesting.
Unless you're mixed with African American or
Right.
white.
It's like Elton John, he writes songs, but I know that people would bring him songs,
Right.
and he'd have these ghostwriters that would have these songs,
Yes.
and he would kill them. He'd perform them, and then that'd be his hit. So did you try pursuing that in any way?
I did. So like I guess when I was in school I was writing like my own songs and I wanted to produce it. I wanted to make a single or an EP. And it's just like, and I did. I came out with like my single and it's not a lot of songs that I've done, but because I'm super picky and
Yeah.
and it just kind of
And it's your name out there too.
and as far as artists, like being an artist, don't pay a producer until you see your first track. Don't at least a deposit. Don't put all of your money and
Yeah, what-
send it all at once like that. That
You got burned?
oh yeah.
What happened?
Well, I just a newbie graduated, from Berkeley, and I'm like, yes, I want my single out there. So he gave me a price, and I'm like, okay, sure, I will do whatever I can to get this done, to prove myself I'm an artist, I graduated from a private music school, so let's do it. And it was a mess.
Yeah.
It was a lot of money. And then when I started asking around, it's like, no, you can actually get like a better price. So, don't be too desperate.
Yeah. Be desperate, but not that desperate.
Yeah.
Desperate enough.
Yeah. At one point I'm like, I have to just focus on my strength and really work hard on that and not waste time on trying to do these because I like to try new things. I like to learn how to do like everything. So after like graduating from Berkeley, and then I was focusing so much on teaching just for money, basically.
Yeah. So that kind of took over.
That took over, and I've been teaching since 2013.
And what's the type of people you get more often?
Well, the majority of it are kids. The school I was at, they focus on, helping kids be a rock star. So you can join the band, and that's what the name of the school is, Join the Band. Yeah, which I thought was a cool concept. And so the majority of the students were kids, but I've had some, few adults.
The thing that you never thought of when you were going to school, you wanted to be a pop singer, was that you were going to have to deal with kids, essentially.
Kids and parents.
And parents. So are the parents harder than the kids?
Yes, definitely. They're, they just sometimes expect more than what you can give them.
Yeah, because they think their kid's the next Mozart or something like that. He's talented, he's great, and you're just like, well, here are the...
and some parents just don't even care about like their kids' progress.
They just want the kid not to be at home at that moment or whatever.
Yeah, they just want to drop off the kids for an hour for a lesson and not have to deal with
get a Starbucks or something and hang out. We're still dealing with the quarantine. We're here in LA. And has that impacted anything in your work at all?
Oh, definitely. I lost a bunch of my students, and especially my singers. I have a lot of adult singer students who, you know, when you're learning how to sing, like, you want to be in contact. Like, you want to be in contact. You want to be in, you know, on a one-on-one type of lesson. And I'm having this problem with Zoom where I would, you know, do the warm-up on my keyboard and then they would sing it. So whatever they hear, it's a half a second to a second late. So there's a delay. Yeah. So I would have to just kind of keep going on my end, even though I'm hearing them half a second late.
And that's so rough with music.
Yeah, I know. And it bugs me, but I just have to, what can I do?
You don't play along on the piano, so.
I don't play along. So I, you know, make it super easy by telling them, hey, pull out the MP3 on your phone so I can actually hear you sing with the MP3 and through Zoom. Yeah. So it's not like I can accompany them and teach them these, you know, more
what you're doing wrong or
things.
Right there.
Yeah, and I can't really see like their body movement. It's really hard.
Because it's not like you're collaborating with somebody where you could just send them an audio file and then they play it on their end. This is like you need real time.
And I should get into that more because it's, you know, collaborating with other people. Like I've collaborated with this guy in, where was he? Italy. Yeah. Yeah, he sent me a track. I recorded the voice at home, and then I sent it over to him, and it was like, perfect, there you go. There's a single.
Oh, yeah.
So I should really get back into that.
You've had to adapt in a way where you're making a web teaching thing, so you don't exactly have to be there?
Yeah, so I started with this idea where I wanted to just teach voice online because, you know, for a first-timer, most of my students are first-timers, right? They find me on Groupons or Thumbtacks, so they're like, hey, I've never sang before, and I want to really learn how to sing just for fun. I haven't really had, like, professionals come and get my, you know, vocal coaching. So what I find myself doing is doing the same type of, you know, beginner teaching, vocal teaching,
you're doing the same steps.
Type of thing. Yeah. And that just kind of like made me think, what if I just built a website or a program where I can just sing people the basic foundation and then they can take like lessons with me after they're done with the program, so I don't have to go through the whole process of here's how you breathe properly, here's how you enunciate. It's not just like, you know, total complete beginner. Like if you've sang for 2-3 years, you still need that basic foundation
all the time,
you know? Yeah. So I thought like this program would be good for, I don't know, like a side job, you know, just money making without having.
At the end of the day, it's all about money.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it's all about trying to make a living out of our trades that we like. And so I guess a thing that I have a question is, did they teach you everything you needed to at Berkeley? Like in that way, in that sense of having to go out there and network and hit the algorithm and any of that. Was there any talk of that, or was it just?
Well, there's a class where you can build your own website and stuff. So that helps.
That's great in itself.
Yeah, and also like it depends on what your major is.
As artists, we're all our own CEOs. You have to be a businessman at the end of the day. Yeah. You have to keep track of all your books. You have to do all of that stuff, but. Where has there been trouble in the whole process that you found for yourself, at least?
Well, me talking straight to a camera, that's like...
That's always weird.
That's a lot harder than I thought.
Yeah.
A lot harder. So definitely that, and then the editing, but that's all taken care of now. I hired some guy to do it. And just coming up with like real good contents. I don't want this program to be shitty, you know. So I have to think about, okay, who's my target? You know, is it complete beginners? Is it professionals? So I have to think of who my target is.
What have you learned on your journey to try to be successful in your field?
For someone who's just graduating or they've just graduated from Berkeley, like I would, you know, tell them to get a job somewhere in the music field. Even if you think like you can't teach, try it out. you never know. Or if you have a lot of connections or you have a lot of money, then you can go straight into achieving that goal,
So you're saying people with more money can
or...
get to that goal faster?
Oh, yes. Because I wanted to make an EP, I wanted to make a single, but I had to pay all these producers. So I had to like save up some money so that I can eventually, get my EP out there.
And what would those producers do for all the money that you would be giving them?
I definitely produce it the way I want it. I want the song to be, and I would just give them like, here's the chords, here's the melody, lyrics comes later, and then they would put it all together. The drum beats, the bass, and whatever they want to add. And then once it's good, then I record my vocals, and then they would edit it. They would master it, and then it's ready. So it's a long process, and it's not cheap. I wanted to, put out my single, and it cost me like $750 for just one producer.
Wow.
To make one song, to master one song. So
there's a good thing that everyone can make songs. Out of their house now, but now there's also a bad thing where everyone can make songs out of their room now.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Do you think would it have been better that we never were able to make it so accessible and easy?
I don't know. I think it's kind of cool that we all get this chance to like make our own music from home,
Right.
But you just don't have that like record label advance that you would get normally if you're a sign artist, but if you're like an independent artist who does your own beats and your own songs, I don't know, the struggle is nice in a way where you have to like, once you make it out there and you're successful, you're like, yes, that's all me. That's not because I cheated and go through like the back alley and
the back way of getting what you want, essentially.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I'm still trying to do my own music, but I've just kind of put it on hold for the time being. But I don't want to completely stop. I want to get back into it because it's my passion. Teaching isn't really my passion. I love it and I'm a good teacher, but it's not something I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So
how's the patience meter on you now?
Oh Lord. It's, with kids nowadays on over Zoom, I just want to like shoot myself in the head sometimes. You just can't get kids to focus online.
It's hard enough in person.
Yeah. I would have to tell them, look, I'm gonna give you 30 seconds that let your energy out, do whatever. Or I would fix their fingerings when they're playing piano, their forms, their posture, but
just even being able to touch a kid on his shoulder saying, hey, posture, would just automatically gives them a spark of sit up.
There's less distractions when I'm there, right, at home, but when they're doing it through Zoom, there's all these distractions, the families, the dogs, and it's crazy. So yeah.
Well, we're all having to adapt in these weird times.
Yeah.
Record
labels. The cool thing is that people are starting to do concerts over Zoom, right? Live streaming concerts.
True.
That's cool enough where you can just be like, hey, I'm gonna sit at my, couch and just watch the concert.
But like we said, everything revolves around money. The artist doesn't really make. Well, I guess he would make money with the likes and ads. And then how many people are watching it, right? Yeah.
And I think people are getting a lot more comfortable doing it that way than because it's so much work. I mean, there is like that rush of you going to the concert and hearing the loud music and the crowds, but that's not going to happen anytime soon.
No.
So I think music isn't really going to change. It's just going to get better.
A lot more time at home.
Oh, yeah. A lot more creative space,
True. Hopefully they have the motivation because that's been kind of hard to pull at. Right. Do you tell people you're a singer, what do you think they see when you tell them that? What do you think they hear from you?
When I tell people I'm a singer, they're just like, oh, cool, do you perform? I don't really gig around, never been my thing. I do perform at my church, but since this whole quarantine thing started, I just kind of like try to play it safe, and I was music directing, and it was really fun. But I think people are just confused because they see me as a teacher, not really as an artist, because I don't put out singles like every 3 months or every 6 months, so I don't really I don't know, I guess they can't really like consider me an artist, but I'm more like a recording artist, I guess. Like a in studio recording artist.
Yeah.
You know, where you send me a track and then I'll just lay down the vocals instead of like a performer. And that's not who I want to be. Like in the beginning, sure, but then after I graduated, I'm just like, no, I don't want to be up front. I want to be like in the studio writing the songs for either for myself or for other people.
Is there anything else that you want to say about your trade that I haven't asked you that you would like people to know?
Don't be afraid of like change, you know?
Adapt to it.
Adapt to it, yeah. And for the people who have just graduated, like, it's okay to not know what you want to do. You can have a goal, but it might change along the way. Like,
and that's okay.
And that's okay.
Well, thank you, Jane Devon. It was a pleasure having you on the Sam of All Trades podcast.
Thank you.
And well, we hope to have you on again. And this was a joy. Thank you very much. I might get some singing lessons.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Take care.